The scientific method applies to shooting investigations because you have to first identify a problem, make a hypothesis, carry out tests, refine your hypothesis, and then develop a theory. So if I went out and needed to find shell casings, I would create a hypothesis, trying to decide where I thought they were, look there. That would be great. Conducting a test. If the hypothesis needs to refine, that's what I do. And then develop a theory based on my findings. The angle of impact is measured and calculated for a bullet by measuring the length and the width of the bullet. The bullet hole. And then you divide the width by the length, and then you use inverse sign. So that's just you're basically making a triangle, and you have to find the inner angle for that. A revolver works by, first off, it's a handgun. So it has a cylinder with multiple chambers, and the chambers are filled with ammunition. The hammer on the back is pulled back, and when you're ready to fire, you pull the trigger that releases the hammer to strike the ammunition, creating a chemical reaction, which then launches the actual bullet out of the casing and out of the barrel of the gun at a very high velocity. In order to determine if a shell casing came from a specific gun, you have to look at impression patterns on the back of the actual shell casing, and you have to conduct tests. So this is where that scientific method comes into play. You have to conduct your tests to put the two shell casings next to each other and actually see if the impressions are the same on the back of the shell casing. And then to determine if a bullet came from the gun, if you found the actual bullet at a crime scene or something, to see if that came from a specific gun, you have to actually look at striation marks. They're like grooves within the barrel of the gun, and they actually make marks on the bullet. So you can actually conduct tests again and compare the two bullets next to each other to determine if the marks are the same, and that can trace it back to the actual gun that was used. Internal ballistics is everything from when the bullet is in the gun until it exits the barrel. So anything with it that happens with the striations, with making marks, with the chemical reactions actually launching the bullet out of the gun, everything like that is considered internal ballistics. While external ballistics are actually everything from the time that the bullet exits the gun until it comes into contact with something. So everything that happens to that bullet while it's in flight. And then there's terminal ballistics. And terminal ballistics is when the actual bullet hits the target. So what happens to the material when the bullet hits the target? What happens to the bullet when it hits that specific material? Everything like that. And so they're all split up into specific things because so much stuff happens. So lots of different stuff to be analyzed in